think this is it. I quickly have to pause it just to switch over again so I can see what you are all writing. Okay, let's see what we're watching here. Looks Sherlock Holmesy. Here we go. A scheme by Professor Moriarty. The Secret of Psalms 46. Oh, it is this movie. Yeah, get comfy, guys.
How many of you here have personally witnessed a total eclipse of the sun? To stand one day in the shadow of the moon is one of my humble goals in life. The closest I ever came was over 30 years ago. On February 26th, 1979, a solar eclipse passed directly over the city of Portland. I bought my bus tickets and found a place to stay, but in the end, I couldn't get the time off work. Well, anyone who lives in Portland can tell you that the chances of catching the sun in February are pretty slim. And sure enough, the skies over the city that day were completely overcast. I wouldn't have seen a thing. That work I couldn't get out of was my first job out of college. A sales clerk at an old Radio Shack store in beautiful downtown Worcester, Massachusetts. On my very first day behind the counter, a delivery truck pulled up to the front of the store. They carried in a big carton, upon which was printed the legend TRS-80. It was our floor sample of the world's first mass-market microcomputer. The TRS-80 Model 1 had 6 bytes of memory and a 64-character black and white text display. The only storage was a cassette recorder. All this could be yours for the low price of $599. The store I was working in had seen better days. At one time, it had been near the center of a thriving commercial district. But like so many other New England cities, the advent of shopping malls had, by the early 70s, turned it into a ghost town. Worcester's solution to this problem was decisive, to say the least. The city's elders apparently decided that if they couldn't beat them, they would join them. And so, several square blocks at the heart of the city were bulldozed into oblivion, destroying dozens of family businesses, including the site of a pharmacy once operated by my great-grandfather. In their place was erected a vast 3-level shopping complex with cinemas and a food court. When the dust settled, only a few forlorn blocks of the old Worcester remained standing. My Radio Shack store was in one of those blocks. Then, to add insult to injury, Radio Shack opened a brand new location inside the shopping center, less than 500 feet from my store. So now, patrons had a choice between a clean, well-lighted establishment with uniformed security and acres of convenient parking, or a shadowy hole in a seedy old office building next to an adult movie theater.
Shadowy hole!
Consequently, I had time to fool around with the new computer. I taught myself basic programming. Then I learned Z80 assembly. Both, of course, so that I could write games.
Of course.
I also created self-running animated demos, which ran all night in the store window, for the edification of the winos who peed in our doorway.
That's nice.
Strangely enough, the few customers we had didn't seem to be interested in our new computer, even after the 16K memory upgrade. In fact, most of the people who set off the buzzer on their way through the front door weren't there to buy anything at all.
What?
They were there to exploit a free promotion, which was the bane of Radio Shack employees for over 40 years. The Battery of the Month Club. The idea of this promotion was simple. Customers got a little red card upon which was printed a square for each month. 12 times a year, the lucky sales clerk got to punch out a square and give the customer one brand new AAA, AA, C, D, or 9-volt battery. Of course, customers weren't allowed to choose just any grade of battery. At the time of my employment, Radio Shack offered 3 different levels of battery excellence. First were the alkalines, powerful, long-lasting, and
Are we waiting
expensive.
for an eclipse
Hanging
here? I
behind
just
them
realized
were
that
prescription
something
medication
actually
and
did
gold
change.
embossed blister packs. These were most certainly not available through the battery.
So I guess we
month
can at
Next
least
were the
assume how
high-end
long the
batteries.
movie will take.
Sturdy, dependable batteries, moderately
Huh.
priced, and prominently displayed near the front of the store. These were also not available through the Battery of the Month Club. Finally, at the bottom of the barrel were the standard lead batteries.
Well, this is quality entertainment.
Piled in barrels, cunningly located way at the back of the store, in a dark corner near the TV antennas. Remember TV antennas?
I
Customers
do.
who came in looking for their free battery of the month had to walk the entire length of the premises, past the CB radios and stereo headphones and remote-controlled racing cars. Nothing would stop them. On the first day of every month, like clockwork, those customers came in waving their little red hands. I would look up from my programming and wave them to the back of the store. It didn't matter that the batteries were only worth 29 cents.
Where
It
exactly?
didn't matter that most of them were already half dead. They came, they grabbed. And as far as I can remember, not one of them ever paid for a damn thing.
Ah, yes. Ooh, okay.
I was young and
Oof.
I thought my education in game
Okay.
design was happening at the keyboard. I almost missed the lesson coming through the
I
front.
suppose 2, 3,
Fortunately, I wasn't the only
4,
person fooling around with
5,
on micros.
6,
All over the
7,
country.
8 times. About 8 times of what we've already seen still to go. Cool.
The world's first commercial adventure game. Remember adventure games?
Yes. Very
My
much do
future
so.
employer, Infocom, was being founded, along with other legendary companies.
You're always right, Hikari. That's not news.
Sirius, Personal Software, and SSI. Those were exciting times. Teenagers were making fortunes.
It's hard to pay attention to this when you are running a stream and also want to be,
It was clean.
in a way, entertaining.
But in 1979, the biggest news in gaming had nothing to do
Oh,
with
what were
computers.
they? What happened in
On the morning
1979?
of the autumn equinox, September 20th, a new children's picture book appeared in the stores of Great Britain.
What?
This picture book was rather peculiar.
A picture book, you
It
say?
consisted of 15 meticulously detailed color paintings, illustrating a slight whimsical tale
Ooh.
about a rabbit delivering.
I like
a jewel
whimsical
to the
tales
moon.
about rabbits.
On the back jacket of the book,
And it might have
was a
met
photograph
Wheatley.
of a real jewel, shaped like a running rabbit, 5 inches long, fashioned of 18-karat gold, suspended with ornaments and bells, together with a sun and moon of blue quartz. According to the blurb underneath, this very jewel had been buried.
Oh, I think I
in England.
at least remember references to this.
Pointing to its location,
Yeah, that's really
seen
cool
in the
actually.
text and in the pictures
Like
of the book.
these real-life treasure hunts.
To whoever found it first.
Hmm. Yeah, that's really cool
The book
indeed.
was called Masquerade. It was
I think I've
created
heard about
by an
this
eccentric
before.
little man with divergent eyes and a talent for mischief named Kit Williams.
Kid!
Within days, the first printing was sold out.
That one was called just like you.
Found itself in the grip of rabbit fever. Excited readers attacked the paintings with rulers, compasses, and protractors. Magazine articles and TV specials dissected the clues, floated theories, and followed with keen delight.
All we want is a good treasure hunt. You're famous! You did pay those bots after all, didn't you?
Was so
I'll go
rare
and prepare me some food while you guys have
treasure
fun
seekers
here.
that the authorities had to erect signs assuring the public that no gold rabbits would be found.
Huh.
Some hunters ended up seeking psychological counseling for their obsession. The craze leapt over the Atlantic Ocean.
Also heard
and
rabbits.
invaded America.
Yeah. A tale about a rabbit bringing a jewel to the moon. It's,
copies in a few months, a record unrivaled by any children's title until the advent of Harry Potter.
Ugh.
Over 150,000 copies were sold in foreign translations, including 80,000 copies in Japanese, despite the fact that the puzzle was only solvable in English.
Are you delivering a jewel to the moon right now? Is this all just a cover-up? This
Many
traveling to the East
far more
Coast?
than that in their months of exploration and travel. It was the thrill of the chase, the possibility of being the one.
That's big.
Treasure hunts, secret messages, and hidden things seem to exert an irresistible
Of
appeal.
course.
They're fun to look for and to talk about.
We want
And
adventures.
This fact of human psychology has been exploited in computer games since the earliest
Makes
days.
sense.
It finds expression in the hidden surprises we call Easter eggs.
Wheatley on the moon.
Atari's Stephen Wright is credited with coining this term in the first issue of Electronic Games magazine. The first Easter egg in a commercial computer game appeared in an early Atari 2600 cartridge called, simply enough, Adventure. By a sequence of unlikely movements and obscure manipulations, players could discover
I don't know what you're talking
where
about.
the words "created by Warren Robinette" appeared in flashing letters. Over the decades, Easter eggs and their evil twin have become industry within an industry. Entire magazines and websites are now devoted to their carefully orchestrated discovery and dissemination. They're part of our toolkit, our basic vocabulary, the language of computer game design. Computer gamers may have been the first to refer to hidden surprises as Easter eggs, but we certainly weren't the first to use them. Painters, composers, and artists of every discipline have been hiding stuff in their works for centuries. The recent advent of VCRs and Laserdisc players with freeze-frame capability exposed decades of secret Disney erotica.
All right.
Thomas Kincaid, the self-appointed painter of light, amuses himself by hiding the letter N in his works. A number beside his signature indicates how many N's are hidden in each one.
All right.
Picasso, Dali, Raphael,
Luna, what are you hiding in your
dozens of other
paintings?
painters concealed all kinds of stuff in their paintings. A favorite trick was hiding portraits of themselves, their families, friends, and fellow artists in crowd scenes. El Greco loved dogs, but the Catholic Church forbid him from including any in his sacred paintings. So he hid them, usually within the outlines of celestial clouds. Composer Dmitri Shostakovich chafed under the political censorship
Completely right,
by the Soviet Ministry.
Alexei.
His symphonies and chamber works are loaded with hidden
All
signatures
Doritos have to
and
be
subversive subtexts
exterminated.
which
No,
have
actually, I kinda like the Dorito puzzles.
sent him to
That's a nice mechanic.
Mozart's opera, The Magic Flute, is filled with musical allusions.
But yeah,
to the
as
rituals
Luna mentioned, you just don't get
of
many
ancient secret
opportunities to really practice
societies
the
and Enter Haydn
Doritos during your
But the most
regular
famous purveyor
playthrough.
of Easter eggs is that champion of the late Baroque, the ultimate musical nerd, Johann Sebastian Bach.
I like how they apply these modern terms to these old schooly artists.
Values to letters of the alphabet. A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3, etc. By comparing, sequencing, or otherwise manipulating these numbers, secret messages can be concealed. Bach took particular delight in the geometrical numbers 14 and 41.
Yes, let's talk about my art to pass the time. Just kidding, I'm going back to the kitchen now.
B equals 2, A equals 1, C equals 3, and H equals 8. 41 is the sum of his expanded initials, J.S. Bach. These two numbers show up over and over again in Bach's compositions. One of the better-known examples is his setting of the chorale Vor deinem Thron.
Vor deinen Thron. It's not an English TH. It's
and the entire
Ton.
melody, from start to finish, contains 41. Another of Bach's favorite games was the puzzle canon. A canon is a melody that sounds good when you play it on top of itself, a little bit out of sync. Frere Jacques and Row, Row, Row Your Boat are familiar examples of simple, two-voice canons. But a canon can employ any number of voices. And you don't have to play each voice the same way either. You can change the octave, transpose the key, invert the pitch, play it backwards, or any combination. Finding melodies that make good multi-voice canons is a fussy and difficult art, of which Bach was an undisputed master. Now, in a puzzle canon, the composer specifies the basic melody and the number of voices, but not the relationship of the voices. The student has to figure out the position and key of each voice, and whether to perform them inverted and/or backwards. Bach wrote quite a number of puzzle canons. The most famous, BWV 1076, is part of a fascinating story. One of Bach's students was a fellow by the name of Lorenz Misler, founder of the Society of Musical Science. This elite, invitation-only institution devoted itself to the study of Pythagorean philosophy and the union of music and mathematics. Its distinguished membership reads like a who's who of German composers, including Handel, Telemann, and eventually Mozart. Applicants for membership in the society were required to submit an oil portrait of themselves, along with a specimen of original music. With nerdly efficiency, Society member number 14 decided to combine these admission requirements into a single work. He sat for a portrait with Elias Haussmann, official artist at the court of Dresden. This portrait, which now hangs in the gallery of the town hall in Leipzig, is the only
I guess I could look at that then.
authentic image of Bach in existence.
That's cool.
The Haussmann portrait
Real live stream coming up.
formal coat
Showing off the Bach portrait or whatever.
In his hand is a sheet of music paper, upon which is written a puzzle canon for 6 simultaneous voices. In 1974, a manuscript was discovered which proved that this canon was the 13th in a series of exactly 14 canons.
Yeah, you will come to Leipzig to look at the picture, right? No, that's cool. When? Tell me.
If these musical gymnastics weren't enough,
So that I can be out of town. No, seriously. Let me know. Would be cool if we could get the chance to meet.
Its initials, BACH, correspond to the pitch sequence B flat, A, C, and B natural in German letter notation. This theme makes its most memorable appearance in the last bars of his final composition, The Art of Fugue, published soon after his death in 1750. The word fugue comes from the Latin fuga, which means flight, as in running away. So, the art of fugue is the art of flight, the art of taking a theme and
You can
running.
tell me soon enough. Okay.
Bach wrote hundreds of fugues, but none as sublime as this sequence of 14. In the last and most complicated fugue in the series, the first and second sections develop normally. This is followed by the BACH signature, and then suddenly, without any warning or structural justification, the fugue stops, dead in its tracks. One of the composer's 20 children, his son Carl Philipp Emanuel, claimed that Bach died moments after those last few notes were written. This story is probably apocryphal.
I was just gonna say that.
The Easter eggs in Bach's music are a pleasant obscurity, known chiefly to professors and students of Baroque music.
And players of the witness,
But
I
in
guess.
March of 2002, when this lecture was first delivered, those Easter eggs were the talk of the entire classical music industry. Sitting near the top of the classical music charts that month was a compact disc on the ECM label called Morimer. It was performed by the Hilliard Choral Ensemble.
Food's done.
together with a
Okay,
talented
now you can eat it.
little known
Bye for now? What? Oh, you're leaving? Ah, damn, I didn't see that. Sleep well, people, have a great time. Sleep well, Boris, thanks for being here. I would give you a shout out, but I can't tap out of the game right now. So, Töne, not Thön.
And the German letter notation of the partita. In doing so, she claims to have discovered the complete text of several liturgical ceremonies encoded in
I'm
the
distracting
notes.
or I'm distracted?
The CD presented these
Both, I guess.
texts superimposed over the original music. The result was strangely melancholy.
Have you guessed why you will have to watch the movie again? No. Probably because there's an Easter egg hidden inside the movie and they're just gonna tell me where to look for it in the end.
Numerology and canny marketing. Their caution was not without basis. Numerology is a slippery slope down which many a fine mind has slid to its doom. Allow me to offer an amusing anecdote from my own experience. Back in the early 90s, before the internet took off, one of the more popular online bulletin board systems was a service called Prodigy. I bought an account on Prodigy so I could join a fraternal interest group and gossip with fellow members around the country. One day, a stranger appeared on our bulletin board. Right away, I knew we were in trouble. This fellow, whose name was Gary, began spouting all kinds of apocalyptic nonsense about worldwide conspiracies, secret societies, and devil worship.
Or because something is happening while the movie is running.
We questioned his sources, corrected his histories, logically refuted his claims,
Like an actual
and tried
eclipse
to
or
behave
something.
in a civilized manner. But instead of soothing him, our attention only made him worse. His conspiratorial warnings became urgent, approaching hysteria. He began to threaten people who disagreed with him. To coin a phrase, Gary went all uppercase.
Yeah,
But his
nice
most
coining
urgent
right there.
warnings weren't about the gays, the Jews, the Rockefellers, or the Illuminati. According to Gary, the greatest enemy of mankind was Santa Claus. Gary claimed to possess a secret numerical formula that proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that Santa Claus was an avatar of the Antichrist.
Alright, if the avatar of the Antichrist brings me presents, then I welcome the avatar of the Antichrist into my heart and home.
To sell. I fell for
I'm
it.
all in for the presents.
$15. Less than a week later, the book arrived. Above an ominous photograph of the Washington Monument was emblazoned the title, 666, The Final Warning. Inside this privately printed 494-page monster, Gary reveals a simple geometrical formula, which he claims was developed by the ancient Sumerians. This formula assigns successive products of 6 to each letter of the alphabet.
The avatar of the Antichrist.
12. C equals 18.
We don't have a quote yet, but yeah, I will add it later. The quote command and the quote.
Named Santa Claus and obtained the blasphemous sum.
If I don't, remind me.
66, the biblical number of the
Yeah, we
beast.
have to be accurate here.
I went on Prodigy and reported to the stunned members of our interest group that Gary was right after all. There could be no doubt that according to the unimpeachable wisdom of ancient Samaria, Santa Claus was
No, the avatar of the
I
Antichrist.
went on to point out several other names which, when submitted to Gary's formula, also produced the sum 666. Names like St. James, New York, and New Mexico. Soon the bulletin board was filled with discoveries like computer, Boston tea, and most sinister of all,
Sing karaoke.
Gary left us alone after that. I got my $15 worth. But Gary is
Might also be
hardly
something about the music in the background that is important here, but
People have been looking for
I wouldn't
Easter
be able to do
eggs
anything with the
for
music here.
hundreds of years. The Hebrew mystical tradition of Kabbalah.
We're looking at a movie.
as
A movie of,
Pentateuch, the first
what's it
five
called?
books of the Old
An
Testament.
Eclipse?
The advent
Is it an eclipse when it's the moon?
The application of numerology to the Bible fast.
I wonder if, yeah, there's an actual eclipse happening outside. Guess we can't see the sun from here, but that's my best guess here.
A former Wall Street Journal reporter.
Hmm.
His book, The Bible Code, applied a skipped cipher in which every nth character in a text is combined with a message.
A lunar eclipse. Ah, yeah, exactly.
By applying his skip cipher
yeah, we're looking at a movie we have unlocked showing the lunar eclipse, and there's a person telling about the history of Easter eggs and PC games,
the death of Princess Di, and the comet that collided
conspiracy
with
theories.
He also found predictions of a giant earthquake,
many things.
A meteor hitting the Earth, and nuclear Armageddon, all scheduled to occur before the end of the last decade. The Bible.
So yeah, exciting stream right here. But this is our reward. And I like the story actually. It's just a bit weird to do this on stream, but oh well. It's what you signed up for.
Real hardcore egg hunters. Nothing can rival the ingenuity, the tenacious scholarship, the stubborn zeal of those who seek the answer to the ultimate literary puzzle. A poisonous conundrum that has squandered fortunes, destroyed careers, and driven healthy, intelligent scholars to the brink of madness and beyond. Who wrote Shakespeare? The essays and books devoted to the Shakespeare authorship problem are sufficient to fill a large library. Several such libraries actually exist. Not even a day-long tutorial, much less an hour lecture.
A lunar eclipse, exactly.
This complex, bizarre, and dangerously tantalizing story. Nevertheless, for the unacquainted, I will attempt to summarize the issue in a few paragraphs.
Thank you.
The undisputed facts of Shakespeare's life and career could be scribbled on the back of a cocktail napkin. We know for a fact that a man named William Shakespeare was born in 1564 in or around the village of Stratford-upon-Avon. We know that he had a wife and at least 3 children. We know he bought property in Stratford, was involved in several lawsuits with his neighbors, and died there in 1616, aged 52. We also know that during those same years, a man with a last name similar to Shakespeare worked as an actor on the London stage, eventually becoming co-owner of some of the theaters there. We also know that about the same time, a number of most excellent poems and plays were published in London under the name Shakespeare. We do not know for a fact that the landowner in Stratford and the actor in London with a similar last name were one and the same man. We do not know for a fact that either man had anything to do with the poems and the plays. All we know is that those poems and plays have, in the 400 years since their composition, come to be regarded as a pinnacle of Western culture. The works attributed to Shakespeare appear to have been written by a man or woman who knew something about just about everything. They're filled with references to mythology and classic literature, games and sports, war and weapons of war, ships and sailing, the law and legal terminology, court etiquette, statesmanship, horticulture, music, astronomy, medicine, falconry, and, of course, theater. Therein lies the problem. How could a farmer's son of uncertain schooling, from a mostly illiterate country village, a man of practically no account at all, wield such encyclopedic learning, with so much eloquence and wit, so much wisdom and human understanding? For the first 150 years, nobody questioned the traditional history of the bard. Then, in the late 18th century, Reverend James Wilmot, a distinguished scholar who lived just a few miles north of Stratford, decided to write a biography of the famous playwright. Dr. Wilmot believed that a man as
Ah,
well
okay.
educated
Now
as
he's taken the name of
must
Walter
own a
Mörs.
very extensive library, despite the fact that not a single book or manuscript is mentioned in his will. Over the years, he speculated, some of those books must have found their way into local collections. And so, the good Reverend Doctor scoured the British countryside, taking inventory of literally every bookshelf within 50 miles of Stratford. Not a single book from the library of William Shakespeare was discovered. Neither were there found any letters to, from, or about Shakespeare. Furthermore, no references to the folklore, local sayings, or distinctive dialect of the Stratford area could be found in any of Shakespeare's writings. After 4
Ominous.
years of painstaking research, Dr. Wilmot concluded, to his own dismay, that only one person contemporary with Shakespeare of Stratford had ever demonstrated the wide-ranging education and expressive talent needed to compose those poems and plays. That man was the multilingual author, philosopher, and statesman, inventor of the scientific method, chancellor to the courts of Queen Elizabeth and King James, Sir Francis Bacon. Dr. Wilmot never dared to publish his theory, but before he died, he confided it to a friend, James Cowell, who, in 1805, repeated it to a meeting of the Ipswich Philosophical Society. The members of the society were suitably outraged, and the scandalous
It's
matter
a scandal!
was forgotten. Then, in 1857, a lady from Stratford,
Preposterous.
Connecticut, published a book called The Philosophy of the Plays of Shakespeare Unfolded. In this book, Miss Delia Bacon, no relation to Francis, claimed that the works of Shakespeare were written by a secret cabal of British nobility, including Sir Walter Raleigh and Sir Philip Sidney.
That was the first thing that came to mind when that educated in everything part came up. Could have been a group of people.
Battle lines were
The
drawn
Shakespeare
between
Society.
The Orthodox Stratfordians and the heretical Baconians. Literary societies and scholarly journals were formed to debate the evidence. Hundreds of pamphlets, newspaper articles, and essays were published defending each side and ridiculing the opposition with that self-aggrandizing viciousness peculiar to tenured academics. Armed with her explosive book, Delia Bacon journeyed to Stratford-upon-Avon and, unbelievably, obtained official permission.
Yeah, sorry.
However, when the moment came,
I was wondering if this was part of a sneaky.
Delia's self-doubt precipitated
But maybe it is, but I don't know where.
nervous breakdown. She later died
I remember something.
in Naples. Around 1850,
Ooh. Ah, so it might be part of a sneaky on this side. Oh well.
one day, browsing through his facsimile copy of the first folio of 1623, he noted that the word bacon appeared on page 53 of the histories and also on page 53 of the comedies.
Maybe I'm still in time.
That Sir Francis Bacon had
But
written
then I would miss
extensively
everything if
on
I
the
now went
subject
back
of
there.
Cryptography. Donnelly began counting line and page numbers, adding and subtracting letters, drawing lines over sentences, circling words, and crossing them out. The result was a complex and virtually
I mean,
incomprehensible
If we
algorithm
watch it
which he
again
claimed was invented by Bacon
on
to
stream,
hide secret
we
messages
could keep an
inside
eye on
his
it,
folio.
and we could be playing something like Words on Stream or something, if you would be up for that.
Civilization had begun. Here are just a couple of the sillier highlights. A doctor named Orville Owen of Detroit constructed a bizarre research tool he called the Wheel of Fortune. This wheel consisted of 2 giant wooden spools wrapped with a strip of canvas 2 feet wide and 1,000 feet long. Onto this canvas, he glued the separate
That
pages
could happen.
of the complete works of Bacon, Shakespeare, Marlowe, Greene, Peele, and Spenser, together with Burton's Anatomy of Melancholy. By cranking the spools back and forth, Dr. Owen could quickly zip across the pages in search of clues and cross-reference. references. Employing a large team of secretaries and stenographers, Owen claimed to have uncovered a complete alternative history of Elizabethan England, as well as several entirely new Shakespeare plays and sonnets.
Okay.
Listen to this hidden verse, supposedly penned by the mighty bard himself, which inspired Dr. Owen to build his Wheel of Fortune. Take your knife and cut all our books asunder, and set the leaves on a great firm wheel, which rolls and rolls, and turning the fickle rolling wheel, throw your eyes upon Fortune, that goddess blind, that stands upon a spherical stone, that turning and inconstant rolls in restless variation. After publishing 5 thick volumes of this rubbish, Owen announced the discovery of an anagram.
Seems to go further away, so I guess we don't have to watch the whole thing again.
Owen spent the next
Well, maybe we have.
years and thousands of dollars
Oh
excavating
yeah, I guess
the
it
bed of
moves
the river
all the
with
time
boat
probably.
crews
Oh
and
damn.
high explosives. He
Okay.
died before anything was found.
Got it.
A fellow named Arnsberg wrote an entire book based on the analysis of the significance of a suspicious crack in the tomb of Bacon's mother. A Ray of Sanity finally appeared in 1957. To those familiar with the science of cryptology, the name William Friedman needs little introduction. During World War II, Colonel Friedman was the head of the U.S. Army's Cryptoanalytic Bureau. He is credited with cracking the Japanese Empire's most sensitive cipher. After the war, the colonel decided to apply his expertise to the study of the Shakespeare ciphers. He interviewed several of the experts in the field and prepared a detailed scientific analysis, which he published under the title The Shakespeare Ciphers Examined. His conclusion? In a word, bunk. According to the standards of cryptologic science, not one of the hidden messages purportedly discovered in Shakespeare's works was plausible.
Yay!
Rules used to extract these messages from the text were non-rigorous, wildly subjective, and unrepeatable by anyone except the original decipherer.
That
The people
sounds
involved were
legit.
not being dishonest. They were channeling their preconceptions. They were trapped in a labyrinth of delusion, mining order from chaos. Anglers in a lake of darkness. Lear, Act 3, Scene 6. You would think that Friedman's cold and ruthless exposure would be enough to silence the heretics once and for all. Not a chance. The books and TV
Yeah,
specials and websites
we
and
know better.
conferences and doctoral
Nowadays,
dissertations
we should really
right
know
on
better.
coming.
Facts are
I
no
should
way
point out
to
that
make
the Shakespeare
people
authorship issue is not only the
um,
preoccupation of
let
cranks
go of
and
their
weirdos. A substantial
unreasonable
number of respected
conspiracy
authors and
theories.
Shakespeareans have expressed serious doubts about the traditional origin of the plays. The list
Meh.
includes Nathaniel Hawthorne, Ralph Waldo Emerson, Walt Whitman, Henry James, Sam Clemens, Sigmund Freud, Orson Welles, and Sir John Gielgud. Living skeptics include the artistic director of the New Globe Theatre, Mark Rylance, Michael York, Derek Jacobi, Kenneth Branagh, and even that most revered and scholarly of contemporary Shakespearean actors, Keanu Reeves. The current leading candidate for the authorship is Edward de Vere, the 17th Earl of Oxford, a theory first proposed in 1920 by an English schoolmaster with the unfortunate name J. Thomas Mooney.
Oh well.
What is it about Bach, the Bible, and the works of Shakespeare that inspires this intense scrutiny? Nobody's looking for acrostics in Chaucer or Keats. There are no hit CDs of the secret chorales of Wagner or Beethoven. For the answer, we need to recognize the unique roles which the Bible and Shakespeare have played in the development of Western culture. No other single work of literature has influenced modern English more than the translation of the Holy Bible published in 1611 under the auspices of King James I. The King James Bible exemplifies the meaning of the word classic. It has been called the noblest monument of English prose, the very greatest achievement of the English language. It has served as an inspiration for generations of poets, dramatists, musicians, politicians, and orators. Countless people have learned to read by repeating the phrases in this, the only book their family possessed. Our constitutions and our laws have been profoundly shaped by its cadences and imagery. But even the glory of the King James Bible, compiled by a committee of 46 editors over the course of a decade, pales before the dazzling legacy of the Swan of Avon. The lowest estimate of Shakespeare's working vocabulary is 15,000 words, more than 3 times that of the King James Bible, and twice the size of his nearest competitor, John Milton.
I guess the King James Bible gets pretty repetitive.
Without the aid of a dictionary or a thesaurus. They didn't exist yet. It was all in his head.
Or their head.
When Shakespeare had a thought for which Elizabethan English had no word, he invented one. The Oxford English Dictionary lists hundreds of everyday words and phrases which made their first appearance in the pages of the Bard. Addiction, alligator, assassination, bedroom, critic, dawn, design, dialogue, employer, film, glow, gloomy, gossip, hint, hurry, investment, lonely, luggage, manager, switch, torture, transcendence, wormhole, zany. Hamlet alone contains nearly 40 of these neologisms.
Those
Who
were
today
some
would have this audacity,
pretty nice
this
words.
giddy exuberance of invention? Only one other English author even approaches.
This movie gets
Shakespeare's
longer each
facility
time.
for coining new words.
Hmm.
Sir Francis Bacon. In the modern era, the record holder is Charles Dodgson, better known as Lewis Carroll, who, interestingly, also happens to be the second most quoted author in English, after Shakespeare. Everyone has been profoundly molded by the influences of the King James Bible and Shakespeare. Like it or not, all of us peer at the world through the lenses of these great works. They are the primary source documents of modern English thought, the style guides of our minds. Contemplating these dazzling jewels of wisdom and eloquence gives rise to an extraordinary feeling, a potent, rare, and precious emotion with the potential to completely upset your life. An emotion powerful enough to make a man abandon his wife and children, forfeit career and reputation, lay
Yeah.
down his possessions, and follow his heart without questioning.
Could be getting close to an hour, that movie.
Fusion of wonder and fear, irresistible attraction, and soul-numbing dread known as awe. Awe is the grail of artistic achievement. No other human emotion possesses such raw, transformative power, and none is more difficult to evoke. Few and far between are the works of man that qualify as truly awesome. It is awe that convinces a rabbi to spend a lifetime decoding Yahweh from the Pentateuch. Awe that sends millions of visitors each year to the pyramids of Giza, Guadalupe, and Mecca. It was awe that drove poor Delia Bacon to her doom. Now, please don't come away from this lecture thinking that the key to awesome game design is the installation of Easter eggs.
That's only
Ordinary
part of
games
it.
with their contrived Easter eggs and cheat codes are like the Battery of the Month Club. You have to trudge down to the back of the store to get what you really came for. If superpower is what people really want, why not just give it to them? Is our imagination so impoverished that we have to resort to marketing gimmicks to keep players interested in our games?
Maybe.
Awesome things don't hold anything back. Awesome things are rich and generous. The treasure is right there. One afternoon, I was sitting alone behind the counter at that old Radio Shack store. My boss had stepped out.
At least we get kitty visitors.
An elderly woman walked through.
Moving the mouse.
Like most of our customers, she was shabbily dressed, probably on a fixed income. I assumed she was there for her free battery, but instead, she placed a portable radio on the counter. This little radio came from the days when they boasted about the number of transistors inside on the case. It was completely wrapped in dirty white medical tape. The woman looked at me and asked, "Can you fix this?"
I love them too.
Slowly, I unwrapped the medical tape, peeling away the layers until the back cover of the radio fell off, accompanied by a cloud of red dust. The interior of the radio was half eaten away by battery.
I mean, we're back in the beginning basically, so I think
I looked at
the story is going full circle.
I looked back at the radio. I reached behind me, where the expensive alkaline batteries were hanging like prescription medication, and removed a gleaming 9-volt cell from its gold blister pack. Then I pulled a brand new transistor radio from a box, installed the alkaline, and helped the lady find her favorite station. No money changed hands. She left the store without saying a word. Awesome things are kind of like that. Bach offered his students very specific insight into the source of awe. In addition to BACH, two other sets of initials are also associated with Bach's music. These initials are not hidden in the notes. Instead, they're
Hello,
scrawled right
Gordita.
across the top of the manuscript for the whole world to see. The initials are S.
I'm well,
and J.
just watching this movie here,
SDG
trying to pay
stands
attention.
for the Latin phrase Sole Deo Gloria, to the glory of God.
We made it to the end. How are you, Gordita? I hope everything is well.
Stands for Jesu Juva. Help me, Jesus. Bach wrote all of his great masterpieces sub specie aeternitatis, under the aspect of eternity.
Yep, thanks for that, Alexei.
Only to please his sponsors or to win the approval of an audience. His work was his worship. Bach once wrote, "Music should have no other end and aim than the glory of God."
But yeah, it's really nice to see you. Welcome to the movie watching
If this is
stream.
not kept in mind, there is
Would
no
you be up for
truth.
playing some words on
Only
stream?
an infernal clamor and ranting.
Because as I hear, we will have to watch this again.
What moves you is not important. What is important is that you are moved. Awe is the foundation of religion. No other motivation can free you from the limits of personal
Glad I never got this far in Witness.
nothing else.
I don't regret anything.
The art of flight.
Just that this fly is here
Computer
and
games are
mastered
barely
the art of
4
flight.
years old. Only a few words in our basic vocabulary have been established. A whole dictionary is waiting to be coined. The slate is clean. Someday soon, perhaps even in our lifetime, a game design will appear that will flash across our culture like lightning. It will be easy to recognize.
Stupid fly.
It will be generous, giddy with exuberant inventiveness.
Why do flies have to be so annoying? Can't you just do something on your own?
Centuries.
I won't feed you.
Something wonderful. Something terrifying.
That's what inspired Jonathan Blow.
Awful. A few years ago, I was invited to speak at a conference in London. My wife joined me, and we took a day off.
I mean, I don't know if the movies in general serve more purpose than just the rest of the game.
It was cold and rainy.
Inspiration, entertainment,
Luckily, most of
making
the
you
attractions
think.
were just a short walk.
This one, on the other hand, seems to have yet another purpose. But for that we will have to watch it again, apparently. Although we might not even be able to listen to what they're telling us, so we will only watch this this moon eclipse.
Born there, or even lived anywhere near it. We went past the school where Shakespeare learned to read and write, although no documents.
I'm trying not to. I do hurt mosquitoes though.
We visited Anne Hathaway's cottage, the rustic country
Killed
farm
one today,
where
I
his wife
admit.
spent her childhood, although no record shows anyone by that name ever having lived there. Finally, we came to the one location undeniably associated with Shakespeare.
Yeah, they are attacking.
Trinity Parish Church, on the banks of the River Avon, where a man by that name is buried. This beautiful church is approached by a long walkway between rows of ancient gravestones, shaded by tall trees. The entrance door is surprisingly tiny. No cameras.
But I'm glad to hear that you are well,
The
Gordita.
interior is dark and quiet.
Sorry that I am
Despite the presence of bus loads
having a
of
hard
tourists,
time
the
splitting my
atmosphere is
attention here.
hushed and respectful. A few people are seated in the pews, deep
I guess I will just listen to this again
aisle
when
leads
I
up
go
the
to
center
bed
of
or
the
something.
church. The left side of the altar is brightly illuminated. On the wall above is a famous bust of the bar,
Because it is actually interesting.
gazing serenely
Just not the
at
best thing to
crowd.
stream.
On the floor beneath, surrounded by bouquets of flowers, at the very spot where Delia Bacon lost her mind, the gravestone of William Shakespeare bears this dire warning. Good friend, for Jesus' sake, forbear to dig the dust enclosed here. Blessed be the man who spares these stones, and cursed be he that moves my bones. Every year, 3 million pilgrims arrive from every nation on earth to approach this stone and consider the likeness of a man whose body of work can only be described as awesome. By
Awesome.
contrast, the right side of the altar is dark and featureless. Nobody of any consequence is buried there. The only point of interest is a wooden case of simple design, carved of dark oak. Inside the case,
I've had more boring Eclipse episode streams. That's good.
lies a large
Gives me a
open
chance to do my German duo.
A plaque on the case identifies this book as a first edition
Surrounded by
King James
bouquets
Bible,
of flies.
published in 1611, when Shakespeare was 46. Not many pilgrims visit this side of the altar. Most of those that do simply glance at the book, read the plaque, and move along. A few, more observant, note that the Bible happens to be opened to a page in the Old Testament, the book of Psalms, chapter 46. No explanation is given for this particular choice of pages. For the initiated, none is necessary. If you are of inquisitive bent. If you are intrigued by English history and literature, if you value your peace of mind, cover your ears now.
I'll cover them with headphones.
In the year 1900, a scholar noticed something about the King James translation of Psalm 46. Something terrifying, something wonderful. The 46th word from the beginning of Psalm 46 is shake. The 46th word from the end is spear. There are only two possibilities here. Either this is the finest coincidence ever recorded in the history of world literature, or it is not. The Earth revolves around only one sun and has only one moon. The moon happens to be 400 times smaller than the sun. The sun happens to be 400 times farther away. And the apparent paths of the moon and sun in our sky happen to intersect exactly twice every month. Which means that every now and then, at long yet precisely predictable intervals, the lunar disk slips across the face of the sun and just barely conceals it for a few wonderful, terrible minutes. A fine coincidence, no? In June of 1977, a little man with divergent eyes and a talent for mischief ascended a hilltop in the British village of Ampthill. At the summit of this hill is a tall, slender cross, a memorial to Catherine of Aragon, the first wife of Henry VIII.
There are two moons, but only one William Shakespeare. Or is there one?
At exactly 12 noon, the man removed from his pocket a bar magnet. He turned the magnet so its north pole was facing south and buried it under the shadow of the cross. 2 years later, a few hours before the publication of his first book, the man returned to that hillside, this time in the dead of night.
We got an eclipse.
He used a compass to locate the magnet he had buried. In that same place, he dug a hole in the ground and placed inside a ceramic container inscribed with the following words: I am the keeper of the jewel masquerade, which lies waiting safe inside me for you or eternity.
Alrighty. How does it look now? Yeah, I'm very late. Guess it went outside. I'm confused. Ah, something is still showing. Game Developers Conference, okay. Bruce Madsen, okay. Brian Moriarty. Oh yes, I remember you mentioned that one. That's the one who's also a puzzle game creator, right? And who also had to look very long to find the entrance to this hidden area here at the end. I remember something like that. Okay, well then I guess it's time to watch it again. Oof. Alright, I mean, let's at least quickly have a look at how it starts. Monkey Island. Ooh, okay, well, I am familiar with that game. That is certainly a coughing cat. Quite the game to be responsible for. Yeah, give me a second. I need to input this code again, and well, I think then I'll just start Words on Stream and see if anyone's willing to play, while I try to follow the path, probably for a while. Yeah, I think I will listen to this again. As I said, might be nice to listen to it when I when I want to go to bed or something. Here we continue, I see. Or just start right off the bat.
The closest I ever came was over 30 years ago.
So we don't have to watch everything again? Or do we? I mean, there was this...
Eclipse passed directly over the city of
There was something else happening on the floor.
found a place to stay, but in the end, I couldn't get the time off.
Yeah. Or is this it? No, this is not it, okay.
The chances of catching the sun in February are pretty slim.
So we'll have to wait until it... okay, until the whole thing is done. And then we'll have the... It turns from white to black, and then at the end we will have the...
And an old Radio Shack store.
Yeah, it moves along, and at the end we'll have the eclipsed...
On my very first day behind the counter,
eclipsed version to put our
they carried in
thingy on. Well, you could have listened to it over here. That's cool. Well then, let me quickly tab out and start Words on Stream. So now you know why everyone sees this at least twice. So clever. Yep, I do. I mean, I guess I could have ended it a bit sooner once I had realized that, yeah, you probably need to start this from the beginning. Okay, I just assumed that something moved along the floor and you had to follow it during the whole duration of the movie, but this actually makes it a bit easier, I suppose. I forgot to switch back to the game scene, and that's why you couldn't see me, but I guess it's okay, I'm back now. I talked a lot and you probably also couldn't hear me. But hey, we're back and it worked to get back into the game, so that's good. I hope it will work again. Sleep well, Rebecca. It was really nice seeing you again. I assume you might be gone already. You won't be able to sleep until you see the finale of the stream. Yeah, I hope it's gonna work. Nice disappearing trick. Yeah, totally meant to do that like that. I mean, I meant to do it, but I meant to reappear a while ago. Well, let's see. Let's try getting back into the witness again. Okay, still active. That's good. Oof. How can a puzzle game be so nerve-wracking?
Terrifying.
I really hope I can solve the sneaky from where I'm standing right now. Still afraid that it won't work out for some reason, but I think it should. Looks pretty good. Like the full eclipse is gonna be right where the end of the sneaky is supposed to be. And after that we might have beaten the witness. For real.
Either this is the
right now, yeah, this is the creator of Monkey Island, apparently.
World literature.
And he's talking about Shakespeare and coincidence and creating games and
revolves around
numerology and Easter eggs and treasure hunts and
the moon.
Metal Man, hi. Yes, this part. We have listened to it once already and then spent some time playing Words on Stream while we heard the lecture the second time. Yeah, It was hinted at me that people hear this lecture twice
every month,
when they play the
which
witness.
means that every now and then,
I hope I don't
at
screw this final part up. That would be so me.
the lunar disk slips across the face of the sun and just barely conceals it for a few wonderful, terrible minutes. A fine
Awesome.
coincidence.
Awful.
In June of 1977, a little man with divergent eyes and a talent for mischief ascended a hilltop in the British village of Eclipse. At the summit of this hill is a tall, slender
Oh,
cross,
speedrun strategy?
memorial to Catherine
Well,
of Aragon, the first wife of
I
Henry
guess.
VIII.
I guess it's too late for that now.
The sun, high in the south, cast the shadow of the cross upon the grassy hillside. At exactly 12 noon, the man removed from his pocket a bar magnet. He turned the magnet so its north pole was facing south and buried
I'm
it
so
under the shadow of the cross.
scared here.
2 years later, a few hours before the publication of his first book, the man returned to
But
that
hey, if I
place
fail, you can tell me the speedrun strategy.
dead of night. He
Aragon,
used a
not
compass to
Aragorn.
locate the magnet
Interesting.
buried.
Maybe that's
In that same place, he dug a hole in the
I mean,
ground,
might even be intentional. Put a little Lord of the Rings reference in there.
inscribed with the following words: I am the keeper of the
Jewel of
Masquerade,
Masquerade.
which lies waiting safe inside me for you or eternity.
Okay. Did this do anything, or was it just the sneaky? Oh, wait, this door is green now. Was it green before? I'm not entirely sure, but somehow all of this looks a bit different right now. I'm confused as to what I have or haven't done. I guess ascending out of here might be an idea and see if something changed outside. There's no music or anything. Was there ever music? I'm not sure. Was there supposed to be something? I'm also not sure. We've got some lag, that's always nice and always makes me afraid that the game might crash at any second. Wouldn't surprise me to find there are a bunch of misspellings in the game. Can be anagram to a clue for the windmill puzzle. Maybe. Okay. I have no clue as to what the hell is going on and as to what the hell I am supposed to do now. I mean, I could just ride the elevator again, but I feel like that would not be fulfilling. The windmill is still turning. This feels more silent than usually. I think the movie just stopped. I heard like a sound. Yeah, I did the thing. And I got a sneaky as expected, but didn't recognize anything else that might or might not have happened. For now I am mainly confused. Yeah, this is the movie theater, right? Yeah. So I think the sneaky went back in here, and I think the door frame wasn't green before. I'm not sure though, it might have been. I haven't looked at anything but this movie about an eclipse for a while. So I'm not entirely sure. Did the sneaky went somewhere over here, might just have gone outside. I am not really sure. I am very much confused though. Do we maybe have to find... No, we don't have to find all the things, right? Hope we don't. Let's see. I just did the thing, so you didn't miss much. Let me see. Oof. The door being green is a thing. The game never had music. Shaking my head. That is what happens when you play it for months. When you don't play it for months. Door frame was for the microscope sneaky. Microscope sneaky? Hello, what you looking for? All that remains is solving the remaining puzzles and sneakies. Well, I watched the movie. Also, hi Purple Snow. I watched the movie, the lecture. I did solve the sneaky. I'm just not sure if it was only a sneaky or if there was more to it. Like if it has unlocked anything or not. If that is what I'm looking for. Yeah, I don't know, it still, I know it had no music, I guess, but it still feels, the environmental puzzle is, I guess, the typically used term. It has unlocked +1 puzzle solved. Yeah, I'm never sure if you're serious or if that's actually all it does. If it is all that it does, then that's cool. I am happy with that. It was a cool lecture and we got an environmental puzzle out of it. Somehow it still feels more silent right now, but maybe that's because I was listening to a 1-hour lecture for a second time. So for real now, is there any more to it, or is it just a +1 sneaky? Which I'm cool with. I'm just wondering if it is everything there is to it, then I guess the one thing, it really is just one environmental puzzle and nothing more. Okay, cool. Good to know. Still totally worth it. And I am gonna listen to that stupid lecture one other time, at least. The obelisk is the one in the town. Okay, so all that's left is solve the remaining puzzles and... oh, the favorite video. Sorry, Gordita. Which was the James Burke one? I think I might know, but was that... I think that science historian, author, and television producer? I'm not entirely sure, but if it was about science and rationality, and if it had like 2 different presentations from different timelines and an interview part, then I think that's the one. It's short. Yeah, comparatively to this lecture, everything is short. Also, I think I should go back into full screen mode. Yep. Alright, there we are. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure which one that was, but I have not seen one of them, which is the shipwreck puzzle one, and don't even get me started. I'm not gonna do the shipwreck puzzle right now. If it's short, I mean, I guess we could go down again and check, but there's this one ASMR one, which was interesting, as far as I remember. I remember the movie one, which director was it? Definitely a Russian film, I believe. Definitely, I believe. Contradiction right there. So let's see. I mean, first thing I want to try is... It's short and sometimes green. Okay, well now I'm curious. So the one thing I still want to try before I end today's stream is reset or like load my 0 puzzles solved save and try to solve the door puzzle according to... Why can't I find that stupid new entrance anymore? Yeah, down in the newly unlocked... Oh, here it is. Newly unlocked area, we found another piece of paper that looked like it might be a specific solution for the door puzzle in the starting area. So I am a tiny bit curious about that. But hey, let's check the movies and see which one you might mean. That won't take very long. I mean, it's hard to pick a favorite because they are all really different, and I think I liked all of them for different reasons. So hard to say, just like, yeah, this is my favorite. This makes it easier. This one?
Well, that's no better a solution than any of the others, is it? So, in the end, have we learned anything from this look at why the world turned out the way it did?
I think I like this one a lot too.
Something, I think. That the key to why things change is the key to everything. How easy is it for knowledge to spread? And that in the past, the people who made change happen were the people who had that knowledge, whether they were craftsmen or kings. Today, the people who make things change, the people who have that knowledge, are the scientists and the technologists who are the true driving force of humanity. And before you say, what about the Beethovens and the Michelangelos? Let me suggest something with which you may disagree violently. That at best, the products of human emotion, art, philosophy, politics, music, literature, are interpretations of the world that tell you more about the guy who's talking than about the world he's talking about. Second-hand views of the world, made third-hand by your interpretation of them. Things like that, as opposed to this. Know what it is? It's a bunch of...
I like this, but I don't know if I fully agree, because part of the world is humanity, human interaction, art, and yeah, human interconnection, and that's a whole specific layer. Back up.
And leaves only what is demonstrably true about the world.
Oh. Oh, I see. Okay, how am I gonna do that?
They have begun to know that they don't know so much.
Where? Oh, here is the starting point, right?
More freedom to
Interesting. Okay, I see.
that they know exists.
Guess we have to restart then. I was a bit late for the backing up part, but I see.
That's no better a solution than any of the others.
I see. No, I don't think I have done that one.
Have we learned anything
I've only done the one to open the window here, I believe.
that's of any use to us in our future? Something, I think. That the key...
I also haven't done anything with this down here and the walls, I believe. Never getting tired of seeing James Burke. I'm never getting tired of eating Doritos. Well, I actually might get pretty tired of it pretty quickly, were I to just gulp them down.
Today, people who make things change, people who have that knowledge, are the What about the Beethovens and the Michelangelos? Let me suggest something with which you may disagree violently.
Yeah, I mean, he says I might disagree violently.
Products of human emotion.
I don't think I disagree violently, but I feel like this is not necessarily just second-hand view of the world and interpretation, third-hand view, etc. Because
Second-hand views of the world made
the thoughts and
things like
what
that,
goes on in
as opposed to this.
a person's mind. Oh, come on. No.
Stuff that
I was too slow again. I'll do this some other time, I guess. Oof, no, there we go.
this stuff
Ah, too slow. You have to be at the precise, perfect spot for that. That's rude. Oh, no. You have another chance. Come on.
because it removes the reassuring crutches that hinder ideology and leaves only what is
Why? Doesn't work. It doesn't let me.
why
Well, I'll do it some other time. I'm not in the mood for just waiting for the movies to reach the spot where I can do stuff. But still, thanks for telling me. I mean, we know what would happen, I believe. But yeah, that was a very inspirational one. I wish I had been able to get that sneaky right there, but I wasn't. I still want to check this thing. Because we found another slip of paper down there that looked like it had a specific solution for the gate controls here. I mean, I have done the sun sneaky in the past, and that was a whole lot of fun. Doesn't let me do any sneakies anymore. Yeah, this one, that was fun, but it looked like we had a different solution for this door sneaky here. So maybe let's... I mean, that's... looks like it's the shape of the door controls, so... I wanted to look into that. Let's see. Okay, first one is open, first latch. That. Second latch. And now for the third one. Where was the third one? Did we have to redirect something in a weird way, or was that just later? Here we are. Ah, okay. We have two possible solutions here. This is neither. Wait. Ah, here we go. I think that was the door outside. It was not the... yeah. My orientation hasn't improved one bit since I started playing this or any other puzzle games. 3D puzzle games. But somehow I always end up where I need to go, so it's okay. Just takes me a while longer sometimes. Oof, okay. Is that all the latches? It is. Okay. I think we had 1 Dorito here, 2 Doritos here, and 3 Doritos there, but let me take a look at it again, just to be sure. other way around. Good that I looked at it again. So it is indeed the same shape as this door, and there are 3 Doritos here, 2 Doritos there, and 1 Dorito in here. I think I solved it already in theory, but only in theory. So this would be the 3 one, this would be the 2 one, and then we're already wrong, so that's not what we want to do. This would be the 3 one, this would be the 2 one. Now we would have the 1 version down here. 3, 2, 1. Seems good. Doesn't change anything though, apparently. Okay, I have no clue what that second piece of paper was trying to tell us then. Because 3 Doritos here, 2 Doritos here, 1 Dorito here. Seems good. That's what I did. And that was on the piece of paper. But nothing changed. It's just, again, door deactivated, going outside. Huh. Sad. What if I put it in again? I mean, I can put new stuff in, right? Maybe it's also for reactivating the door like this. Something I assumed was impossible, but maybe it is not. That would be cool. Kinda. Ooh, yes! Oh, alright. Okay, okay. Figured it out. So we can rearm the door. Nice. But if we solve the sneaky, then we can't anymore, right? Because I think then the panel deactivates, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I guess then this is the last thing. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of the credit scene in there. So this is how you are supposed to end your game. When you're done, you reactivate this door, you put in the code, you do the sun sneaky, and then you're out of here. In a way, or not. Okay, solved that one. Just put it in twice and you'll learn what it means. Alright. It's for 100%ing the game after everything. That makes sense. That makes much sense. Gotta take off for real now, Rayk. Sorry, I missed that because I kinda played around too much with everything. Guess you might be gone by now, Owl. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the bits before and everything. That was super, super kind. And yeah, okay. Seems like we have beaten the witness. We haven't 100%ed the witness. We haven't solved the stupid shipwreck puzzle. And I don't think I wanna deal with the shipwreck puzzle right now. I think I'm good for today. This was a successful stream. We did the challenge. We got the sneaky. We did some words on stream. This was a fun stream. Thank you everyone who was here for it. I'll check for someone to raid now. Ooh, 6 AM. Good timing, I guess. That's a good time to end. And yeah, next week, I don't know if I want to play some Omno, simple puzzle game time, or if I want to play, what's it called? Beep, 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 Stanley Parable, that was the name. Something like that. We'll see, we'll see. Now for someone to raid. Damn, now I have to watch ads before I can raid someone. That's bad. I guess everyone will have to watch ads then when we raid. That's super bad. I don't like ads on Twitch. It's the worst. GG and thanks for the stream. Thank you, Gordita. Thanks for being here. Woobat, thank you for being here as well. Luna, thank you for being here as always and for the raid earlier. You are all super amazing. thanks for being here, and greetings to your mom again, Gordita. It's really nice that she was also here. That's cool. I have just recently started following Top Hats, but Top Hats seems to be another pillar of this community and is playing Death's Door right now, which I think looks really nice and really interesting. So I guess let's just head over to Top Hats. That's my decision now. I hope you're all gonna have fun there, and damn, I did shout out instead of raid. I always do that. Here we go. Damn. Come on. There we go. Nice. So yeah, I hope you're gonna have a great time there. If you're gonna go to bed soon, then goodbye then, and good witnessing. Thanks, Luna. Then still feel free to stick around for the raid or don't, but if you do, yeah, hope you're gonna have a great time there, and until next time, see ya then. Bye.